Hello, I'm Professor Toybox.
I'm Syndrome, the 2.0 version. It's about time you showed up. Oh, but wait till you get a load of today's agenda. It's totally out of hand.
Well, our agenda today is to build the final boss battle for my randomly generated dungeon adventure, Return to Atlantis.
I gotta say, this place has a lot of potential. You are one great builder, my friend.
Thanks. It was really rewarding to recreate the palace and the caverns from the Atlantis movie. I think this area turned out great.
Oh, whatever.
Which reminds me, before we get to the boss battle, I want to come in here to Spark mode and show you what I've done since last time we were here. So we'll come on up here to the palace, and you can see I've made a few changes since we were here last. First of all, I put down some pots next to the bed because it seemed kind of plain sitting here by itself. So these are the lamppost objects from the plants drawer. They've been textured with the Aladdin power disc that I have. Second, I've added a battle up here, a fairly large one. And hopefully this won't be as difficult as the boss battle down below, but should still be a challenge. Third, I've added a gate back here along with a key to open it. And I'm doing that instead of a secret door. Just felt a little bit more natural to me. And the last thing I did was took out this long staircase that winded down here on side of the level down to the caverns. It took a long time to traverse that, and it just kind of seemed to break up the flow of the level. So I took that out and replaced it instead with a teleporter, which will take us down to a little room down there next to that. So that's what I've done since last time.
Well, I hope you're having fun, but now you'll see how useless your efforts have been.
Excuse me?
Let's cut to the chase, kid. This little experiment is about to come to an end, and so are you.
Wait, are you threatening me? You do realize you're still pretty low level, right? You're just a toy. I can throw you into this battle against some really tough enemies, and you'll die pretty quick.
Well, let's get this party started.
Okay, you asked for it.
This is the moment I've been waiting for.
Down here and put you inside this little trigger area. As soon as you walk out of that, the enemies will spawn.
Oh, this is gonna be good. You ready for this? 'Cause I am. Oh yeah! Chaos can be so awesome!
Well, that was depressing.
What? You'll get over it.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, don't feel bad. I'm a total mastermind.
I guess my idea for this level isn't gonna work. I'm bummed.
Hey, look, I know you tried, but sometimes trying just isn't enough.
I think this level grew too big for the boss battle spawner. It's taking up too much memory. The entire console froze and I had to reboot it. I think I'll have to remove this and put in something else. Before I do, just out of curiosity, that's where the memory level currently is on the right. If I come in here and delete this, and now, whoa, yeah, that made a huge difference. I guess we'll have enough memory now to be able to do what we need to do. Okay, well, I was hoping to use one of the bosses, but I think I can use one of the more powerful enemies instead. So let's see, what do we have here that we can work with? I've already used these two guys before. I don't think frost giants are gonna work. Oh, maybe this'll work.
Right on!
Yeah, he looks pretty nasty. I think we could use him and substitute for a boss, and he can be the Rourke that was transformed by the Heart of Atlantis' power.
I gotta say, I'm impressed.
So I'll put him in later. For right now, the other part of this that I was thinking of doing was having a bunch of other enemies down here, but rather than doing just the things that we've done before, I was thinking what we would have is 3 machines set up, and each of those machines would be continuously spitting out enemies, and those enemies would, once you defeat them, more would just keep coming, and the only way to defeat them would be to use your sidekick.
Oh, brilliant!
So you'd have to throw them through a sidekick door like this, which would be attached to the machines. Let's see how we want to put those in relation to the heart of Atlantis, probably a little bit out front. So maybe about something like that. And then I need some machinery to attach to. So let's come up here to the terrain. If we put in this and texture it, I'm thinking something kind of like what we did in the previous level with the fire barrier. There's still quite a bit of memory in here. It's taking a while to set that texture. There it goes. There we go. And then we'll come into the plants drawer, and I think it's the big tree that I had to set before. Yep, there it is. Do that machinery. There. So that looks like some machinery that might have been set up. And this machinery would be tapping the power of Atlantis and using that to transform more of Rourke's men. So now we have to actually make it look like it's doing that. And what I have in mind is we'll come up here to the Creativitoys and we'll drop down a locator. Let's make sure that little dot's facing the right way. It's not. There we go. And that will be where the effect will be coming from for looking like a vortex that the enemies are coming out of. So I'm going to put down a couple of effects generators. And the first one we'll use for that effect. So I'm going to go ahead and connect it to that locator. I'm going to go ahead and, oops, attach the other one as well. This one will be for the explosion when I destroy this machine. Okay, and now we'll need a, let's see, a button to test with. So I'll throw a quick button down here. And what I want to do here, new logic connection when pressed. See if I can find the effect I'm looking for. We'll do just once. And I think it's under flashes. The magic vortex. Oh, I hate when it does that. Alright, fine. Let's try going in a little bit different place. Let's see if it'll put me out here or upstairs. Yeah, it's still putting me upstairs. Well, that's a bummer. Alright, we'll just use the teleporter to get down there. There we go. And I'm running through that trigger area. Oh, now that's interesting. Last time I had noticed that the power sphere that was up there, I could hear that up top when I was building the palace. And so I used a replayer to put it down, and for some reason it's putting two of them down. That's strange. I'll have to deal with that. Okay, so let's see about that effect. Yeah, that looks good. That looks like a vortex that they'd be coming out of. Okay, so I'm going to want to start that up when we come through this trigger area. So new logic connection when entered by player, any. We'll come over here to that effects generator and we'll play it looped. Oops, not the spark burst. Play looped, flashes, magic vortex. Okay, so we're done with that test button. Okay, so now we've got our vortex, and now we need some enemies to come out of that. And so we're going to need a couple of enemy generators. And a couple of logic gates. I tried this once with just one generator, trying to loop around and have it spit out the enemies, but it didn't work that way. So let's see, new locator. So I had to kind of alternate between the two of them. And the other one will show up at that position as well. So it'll look like the enemies are coming out of that vortex. So for the first one, and just to test this, I'll keep it simple and just throw in a couple of simple enemies. So for the first one, we'll put in a couple of pistol guys and come under their properties. They don't need a random locator, don't need a generation delay, and since they're appearing out of nowhere, the generation effects are fine. For the second enemy generator, I'll go ahead and pick a couple of shotgun guys. That way I can distinguish which generator is putting down enemies. When I put this in for real, I'll put in some stronger enemies. And properties will set up the same as the other. Okay. Good. So now, when we first come through this doorway, and we walk through this trigger area, new logic connection, when entered by player, any. We're going to come down to the first enemy generator and generate the wave. And when that wave is defeated, we'll come over to this logic gate and input. And on the gate, when output, we'll go to the other enemy generator and generate that wave. And likewise, when that wave is defeated, come over to this guy's logic gate and input. And on output, generate this wave again. And I'm not sure exactly why I can't use one wave, but I tried setting this up before when this wave was generated to go to its logic gate, turn around and come back. But apparently this enemy generator doesn't have time enough to reset itself or something, and it just doesn't generate. So to get a continuous stream of enemies coming out there, I gotta rotate between two of these guys. Now for those logic gates, I need to make sure they're open. So when we come out of this trigger area, new player any, we'll come over to each of these logic gates and make sure they're open so that the looping with the enemy generators can work.
Tell me you're geeking out about this as much as I am!
Yeah, I thought you might like that. Okay, so you walk through you walk through the trigger area. That starts the vortex, that starts the enemy generation, and we get a constant stream of enemies coming through there. So the only way to stop it is to throw your sidekick in here to this door. So we'll come under properties. I do not want to remove him on entry. Right now I don't want to disable the door after use because I want to test this a few times. The normal response chance will always succeed, and it's never going to backfire on us. So we'll go ahead and turn that off and leave it at 0. So now, when the normal response is returned, we're going to come over here to the vortex generator and stop looping that. We're also going to come over here, and on the normal response returned, we'll go ahead to this generator and play one time an explosion. And that'll make it look like we actually did something. And now that I'm thinking of it, it might be worthwhile to put these four or five pieces for the machinery inside a replayer. And when we walk through that trigger area back over here, have it put this down, and then we can clear that replayer on this normal response return, so it'll look like we destroyed the thing with the explosion. The other thing we'll do is we need to close these gates so no more enemies will come out because the vortex will be destroyed. Normal response returned. Close the gate. And just so I have a way to test this a few times, I'm going to go ahead and bring my reset button down here. Where I can get at it a little bit easier. I'm not sure I need to reset anything just yet, but I have a feeling I might need to if something goes awry here. So anyway, that's down there. Okay, so now, oh yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to do, that's right. Because we already walked through that trigger area once, so to reset it, we need to, when pressed, come over here and reactivate this trigger area. Otherwise, none of this is going to work. Knew there was something I was forgetting. Okay, so we got it set up. We walk through that trigger area, and it puts down the vortex, starts the enemies going. We put the sidekick in here, and that'll turn off the vortex, blow up the machine, and close those gates so we get no more enemies. Any existing enemies that were spawned will still be out. So I think that's what we need. Let's go ahead and give this a try. And of course it put me back up here. Alright, we'll just come back over here to the teleporter. I think I'm going to have to put something in here to make this door a little bit easier to see. I don't think anything's going to happen here yet because that trigger area was off. So I got to come over here and turn that back on. Oh, and we're going to need our sidekick. Yeah, Dopey works good. I've already got him set up with a weapon from last time. Or an earlier time. Okay, so we walk through the trigger area, come back down. Our vortex is going. We have some enemies. Okay, so now those enemies are gone. New ones come out. This is that other wave generator. Okay, and now more enemies come out from the first generator, so the looping is working good. We have an endless stream of enemies coming out of this thing. So now, to turn that off, Hey, get back here. Oops. More enemies. Come here, you're supposed to go in that door. Hey!
Hey, watch it!
What the heck? Hey! Well, this test isn't going smooth at all. Get in there. Okay, so there's the explosion. The portal is off. So now if we defeat these guys...
That's right. Who's super now?
No more enemies are coming out because the vortex is turned off and the logic gates are closed. So that worked out pretty good. I think I might do that. Go ahead and put those in a replayer and try seeing if we can actually make the machine look like it was destroyed. Having a smoke plume there or something might work as well. And I'm going to put down 2 more of these, one over there and one over there. So we have 3 of these set up in addition to our stand-in for Rourke, the big symbiote. And so that'll have a lot of enemies to defeat. And we'll need our sidekick to help us out with that. So I think that's all for today. Next time, we're going to play test this level and test out the final boss battle and run this level from start to finish and see how that goes. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Subscribe to my channel or sign up on my blog to see what we do next time. And you can find build tips and logic diagrams on my blog as well for the different challenges that we make. And for now, that's all for me from Atlantis, and I will see you next time.